Might not make it, send us apologies. Oh, yeah, we're ready.
Okay then, councillors. Where's she now? Don't leave her behind. Anyway, welcome to this January pack. And then we've got some members of the community, which is nice to see as well. So, item 1, apologies for absence received.
Thank you, Chairman. So we have tentative apologies for Councillor Morehouse. He has a travel commitment, he's hoping to be here, but it will be late.
Okay, thank you. Item 2, declarations of interest. To receive any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interest from members in respect of business to be transacted on this agenda.
Yes. Item 6.
Item 6.
Withdrawal of planning permission. And if I could just make 2 corrections. First of all, it says withdrawn, but not by us, but by apparently Dover District Council. And also the planning application reference number is incorrect. 22//00776 is the correct reference number. 23//0076, a similar but not quite the same number, actually refers to a property at 7 Sandown Road, Deal. So the reference number is not correct.
Thank you. I've added those. Yeah, that's
Oh,
all right. We clarified that.
Okay. Okay, to approve the minutes of the Planning Committee held on the 6th of December 2023 and to consider any matters arising from those minutes not covered elsewhere in the agenda. Attachment 1.
Oh, I'd like to recommend the minutes, the previous minutes of the Planning Committee meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Second. Okay, second. All in favour? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Item 4, public participation. A 20-minute session is set aside for members of the public to make representations at the meeting in respect to the business on the agenda. Individual representation should not exceed 5 minutes. Written notice of the desire to exercise the right to speak, together with the topic to be addressed, must be given to the Town Council or the Town Clerk by noon prior to the day of the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, you have 2 requests. So the first is from a gentleman called Joe. Joe would like to, are you happy to stand?
Now?
Yes, please.
Would you like to be on camera or off?
Not really.
No, that's fine.
Evening all, Mr. Mayor. It's about the objections to the proposed development of the schoolhouse in Sandwich, which affects quite a few of the neighbours with the original proposal in terms of privacy, right to light, noise pollution, debris and dust, including sort of 3 asthma sufferers in the area as well. As far as I understand, I spoke to DDC today. There is, I think, a proceeding on whether the application is proceeding or not on the 25th, which I just got told there's another meeting here on the 27th. Is that correct? Or?
No, so full council, and the deadline for this planning application, because there's been new documentation submitted, is now the 30th of January. It means that if members, when they get to that item, if they want to, they can defer the item if they haven't had sufficient time to look at the new superseding documentation, and we can still meet on the, we'll meet the full council on the 29th of January.
Right. Does that mean the new documentation is another planning proposal, or is it the same one?
So the documentation that's been submitted supersedes, because I think it's an alteration as to the original planning application.
Right.
So what will happen is members here, if they feel that they haven't had sufficient time to look at the new documentation, they could take the decision to defer the item, and if the planning committee won't be meeting until February, the
Right.
full council meets in time to meet the deadline, and,
Okay.
and it is proper for the planning application to be seen by the full council. That can happen.
Do the new proposal, is that put online? Is it possible to view it, or?
So it is on the Dover District Council portal. I checked
Okay.
just before we came to the meeting. So there are
Okay.
3 documents been added.
Okay. Apart from the obvious objections, I think that kind of wraps it up with this superseding.
Yeah.
So we'll just it'd be nice to have time to have a look at the new proposal.
Indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and then it was a gentleman called Alex.
Good evening all. So thank you councillors for this opportunity to speak on behalf of the hundreds of Save Ash Level supporters in Sandwich, Ash and beyond. So tonight you'll be consulting on the proposed development of an industrial solar plant, which will negatively change our historic and ecologically rich rural area for generations to come, if not forever. This is an inappropriate site under so many material conditions. We represent a sizable group invested into saving Ash Level and preserving it for future generations, our communities, our wildlife, our heritage and our food security. I don't have much time to speak, so I'll endeavour to make the key points tonight, and in the weeks to come we'll provide you with a more comprehensive outline of national, regional and local policy material conditions to object to this proposal. As you can appreciate, the timing of this submission is, for the cynics out there, shamefully obstructive. We, like yourselves, and Ash Parish Council and myriad other consultees are all struggling to react to this as fast as we would like to. Although I would like to note here that KCC Highways have already posed an objection for the farcical access proposed along narrow country roads. Fundamentally, this proposal is for an inappropriate site. If it were not conveniently located by grid pylons, providing the developer with significantly low installation costs, it would certainly not have been chanced or even attempted. Furthermore, for 12 months and likely beyond, it will turn the lives and communities upside down. This proposal will materially change the character of this historic area and landscape, and will connect historic Sandwich and Ash with an industrial corridor. This scheme offers no local benefits, only costs. Backed by an extraordinary swelling of local community opposition, it is clear that there are significant material policy reasons it can and should be rejected as inappropriate under. Foremost, it goes against any conditions set out in the NPFF around ecology and heritage. It does not meet requirements in Dover District Council's local plan, current and proposed, or their green infrastructure strategy, and it does not meet the requirements of Ash's neighbourhood plan. Dover District Council's landscape character assessment states we should conserve the open landscape and avoid the introduction of large-scale or incongruous elements or any form of development in this unsettled landscape. There is no development designation for this area. All allocations for development are below the A257, and there are active plans to enhance the Ash Level wildlife and ecology status. No alternatives have been sought. This is simply because the location saves the developer capital costs and profits destined for Norway, not even the UK. There are substantial brownfield sites available, they're just more expensive options. The visual impact of this scheme will be entirely negative, particularly from elevated views, whether you're looking over it from Sandwich direction or from historic Richborough. The Ash Levels is known for its tranquility, yet during the 12 months construction, 43,125 blocks of concrete will be pile driven into the ancient soil to host 86,250 panels shipped from China. The noise, vibration, soil and disturbance will affect both sensitive wildlife as well as all surrounding residents and businesses 6 days a week, all day. Against the NPPF, this location does not meet the low quality land requirements for solar projects. Within Statkraft's submission, of the 82 samples taken, only 6 in fact were 3B, 2 being grade 2 and 74 being 3A. That's 93% of the land considered best value. Similarly, against the NPFF, there is a negative impact from cumulative solar and energy developments. This area already has its fair share of solar and energy plants. As you all know, there is just another one a few hundred metres south at the White Mill roundabout, plus 2 further are currently proposed, one at Europa Nursery and also at Richborough, all within just a few hundred metres. This is not to mention the prospective Sea Link development, also just 1.6 kilometres away. Ecology and wildlife impact. Well, you don't need an ecologist to tell you how precious this area is. Pink-footed geese, Canada geese, buzzards, hen harriers, sparrowhawks, owls, storks and more, plus protected species including beavers, otters, hares, voles, breeding birds and bats. In fact, Statcraft's desktop ecology report confirms this, but suggests growing wildflowers on the periphery of the site will mitigate this. The critical wider biodiversity of the site also must not be ignored. The ash levels are crisscrossed by waterways and home to chains of species which are vital for all the species the level supports and ensures thrives. The historical and archaeological importance also cannot be overstated. Under any plan or policy, firm directives prevent solar plants from being sited next to heritage sites, let alone a world-class heritage site, one of the most important places in Roman Britain according to English Heritage. Millions of public money has already been spent on enhancing that site to welcome the anticipated significant uplift of visitors, seemingly an almighty waste unless this is rejected. Then comes the access plan. Anyone here who knows those roads or has even travelled down them once would know it's simply laughable and untenable. Accessing the site using narrow country roads, which large cars and horse boxes scrape down, is an absolute nonsense. These roads are used daily by walkers, cyclists, horses and local residents. I would flag that already Kent Highways have made a holding objection on these grounds alone. They point out one alternative, and that owner is vehemently opposed to this. Of course, every planning application has reasons for and against. The decision you as consultees will make looks to see where the balance is against material conditions and at what cost benefit this proposal comes with. There are no local benefits, only costs. Hopefully I've only re-highlighted to you just how ridiculous and inappropriate this location is. We need to save ash levels, save the area we know, save our heritage, save our landscape and save what's critical to our community. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Item 5, planning application. Application plans and papers can be viewed via the Dover District Council website. A. Planning application reference 23/01363. Proposal change of description. Construction of a solar farm and associated access infrastructure location, Gossall Valley, East Street, Ash.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to straight off put a proposal that we vote against this planning application for a whole list of different matters that have been highlighted by the gentleman called Alex tonight, but in particular for the ecology and the heritage. I don't think anybody in this room could allow something like this to go ahead when we have such wonderful historic monuments such as the Richborough fort, which is English heritage. We've spent a lot of money on recently, and it will be within sight of that beautiful artefact. So my proposal, Mr. Mayor, is to refuse this application.
Did you want to speak first?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Before we
I too would like to strongly object about this proposal and ask the committee here to register strong objection to Dover District Council. My objections are on the same grounds that Alex has so eloquently set out. But I'm very conscious that we should understand the company that are doing this, because if this is allowed, the solar farm is going to have a major visual impact. The proposal will bring no benefit. The planning application clearly states that there will be no employment. The only people benefiting from this development are Little South Clean Energy and its parent company. They have displayed sharp practices in submitting this application before Christmas, and such a large application is really for a rezoning of the area from farmland to an industrial area, and it'll make the area an industrial. The directors of this company are not local business owners. Of the 4 directors, 1 lives in Ireland, another lives in Scotland. Each of them are directors of over 40 companies that develop schemes that they often sell on, making tens of millions of pounds and pocketing millions of pounds in bonus. There will be no benefit to the area, as Alex has set out. They've selected the site for the ease of the grid connection, where they save thousands and millions of pounds in getting connected to the national network. They are not a local farmer just converting one field. This application is for the construction, operation and decommissioning of the solar farm. And I've looked through the application and I've found nothing about the decommissioning. In the terrible event that Dover District Council do grant the application, I would ask this committee to strongly recommend that a meaningful planning condition is given to ensure that the solar farm is completely removed at the end of the permitted period, and that the land, hedgerows, pathways, watercourses are fully restored. I recommend that Dover District Council should insist on a financial instrument, a bond, a sinking fund, or a parent company guarantee to adequately cover the cost of the full restoration. This requirement would reduce the financial appeal to the developers and hopefully cause them to think again. We cannot be guilty of allowing an industrial wasteland to blight the countryside for future generations. And as Alex has said, within the existing solar farms in the area, there are renewable biomass combined heat and power plant at Discovery Park, the anaerobic digestion generation at the old Richborough Power Station, and the National Grid New Connector Scheme. This area is making more than enough of its contribution to the power supply. Enough is enough.
I'm afraid I'm conflicted here, because on the one hand we have a stated climate emergency. I'm also in total agreement with Alex, with Peter, with Paul. Absolutely. I am going to hold up my yellow card in a moment. But there are 1,200 solar farms, major solar farms in the UK. Every single one has objections in a similar manner. We would have none. The same with all the wind farms. If you start looking at, and I do this is one of the things that I do. If you start looking at the planning applications for just about every single wind farm, mostly in Scotland, there are similar objections because they are destroying landscape, destroying farming, destroying this, that and the other. And they're all in the wrong place. I don't know which is the right place, with the exception of offshore wind farms. I expect the council will object and vote against it, and I support, in a way, one half of me, that conflicted side says we've done the right thing, but somehow we must consider the global impact of climate change. That area will almost certainly be underwater before that 40 years is up. We're going to see serious problems with rising sea levels, and this is one of the things that is being done to try and mitigate against that. And while I know people blame China, blame America, blame Australia, blame what have you, we've all got a part to play. And I don't know whether this is the right place. Taking that global view into account, in a local view, it's the wrong place, totally and utterly the wrong place. That's basically what I would like to say.
Yes, so I'm also strongly against this application. You can tell by the residents how they strongly feel about this. So I will very happily second Councillor Carter's motion.
Councillor Wallace.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Councillor Mallet. Clearly we need more sustainable energy, wind, solar, tidal, etc. But this isn't the right place for that. It's a huge site. I've walked across there. It's agricultural land. It's prime wildlife land, and I think the other issue is that we've got the aqua park on the other side, Discovery Park. There's a danger that Sandwich is being surrounded by industrial developments and will end up becoming a medieval town that loses its character and its setting and everything else. So I think there are strong objections to be made to this site based on the NPPF and the wildlife issues, the loss of prime agricultural land, the impact on wildlife, and the access arrangements for the construction, which are clearly not suitable. So I would support a strong objection going into DDC on this.
I'll just have one last thing. If I could, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to reply to Councillor Mallet and say we all know where the right place is for these solar panels, and it's about time this government pulled its finger out and put them in the right place. And that is all new developments, whether they're commercial, residential. If all new developments had solar panels as a compulsory part of their building, then we wouldn't have to have these solar farms in places where it's going to destroy the wildlife and the heritage. That's where they should be, Councillor Mallet.
Can we go to the vote then? Motion and second, who's in favour of it?
Mr. Chair, can you just be clear, this is it for a strong objection?
Yes, it is for a strong
Strong
objection.
objection, yes.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's what Councillor, the Mayor said.
Yes, strong
Yeah.
objection. Okay, those, yeah, 1, 2, 3, yeah, it's carried on.
5, yeah. Thank you.
Only one abstention.
One abstention.
And the grounds as set out in the
Yeah.
previous discussion.
Okay, thank you. Sorry? Yes, we'll come to that.
I sort of miss him out. I said I didn't want to miss you out, Councillor. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
The second one, number B, planning application reference number 23/01314, proposal erection of two-storey side rear extension, alteration of window doors, formation of new vehicle access and parking, location schoolhouse nursery, school road Sandwich, CT39. Well, I think we should defer this till the full.
So that's what I was going to alert everybody. This is, as we discussed earlier, there have been documents to supersede the original application. So if members are minded, they can defer this one and it will go to council at the end of January.
I'll second that. It's just happened very suddenly, and it does change the whole aspect of this planning application. So we should allow people to.
All in favour of deferring it to the full council meeting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we can. Thank you. C, planning application reference number 23/01341, proposal remedial works including installation of a secondary first floor structure over existing, relocation of existing low level roof ties and installation of additional roof ties, location 59 Strand Street, Sandwich, Kent, CT39EX.
Oh yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to recommend this planning application. This is for structural work to one of our elderly houses. So it needs this work undertaken from the plans. It just shows the interior ties and a superseding floor across what's already existing there. So I'd like to propose.
I think we already passed this. Do you reckon this is conservation work? I think we had this before, didn't we?
It could be work.
I don't put the two together.
No, perhaps it's.
You know what I mean? We've already had the planning application approved. I think this is the conservation. Be handy to have the two on the same evening.
Yeah,
But,
that's fine.
okay.
That's fine.
So
Could we still recommend approval?
Yes.
Yeah, approve. Yeah. Yeah, second. Yeah. I think all in favour. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Council has really passed out a bit. D, planning application reference number 23/01437, proposal erection of a single storey rear extension and sliding gate for vehicle access, location 12 Britannia Terrace, School Road, Sandwich, Kent, CT 13 9HT. Well, I don't like this for a start. I think it's got a flat roof, isn't it?
Yeah,
Since it's a
that's-
flat roof, we don't have flat roofs in the conservation area, so I think we just turn down.
Well, I don't know so many people that need to speak. There was an informal site meeting for
Yeah.
this one, and for those that went to see the site, there's a number of issues to do with this property. First of all, there's the wall that goes up the side of the property, which is going to be, we need to know about whether that wall's going to be removed, because it isn't a load bearing wall at the moment. So we need to know about that. There's the issue to do with the existing garden wall, some of which has been taken down and demolished, and apparently an old retrospective vehicular access has been opened up, but we don't know that any permission was given for that. It certainly wasn't a gateway, there was fencing there from the previous photographs as well. So the parking going in and out would actually reduce the number of on-street parking spaces.
Then it takes the car off the road though, doesn't
Yeah.
it? So you get
Well, it takes one car off the road, but it's going to remove 2 parking spaces for this display to get in and out, and the road's really too narrow for that to go ahead. And we have got a number of complaints to do with one's already gone in, but the sliding gate has noise issues in late at night and early hours of the morning.
I think there's a sliding gate next to it, isn't there?
Well, there is, but that was obviously put in without any consideration of the noise issues.
Yeah. So anyway, so what's your proposal that we reject it?
Well, obviously there's
Yeah.
more conversations.
Yeah.
I think I cycle up and down there a lot, and at the moment cars park all along
Yeah, they
that
do.
boundary wall. But if there's vehicular access for one car, it means losing at least one space on the road. So there's no net gain. Maybe 2 probably would be lost. There's no net gain at all. Plus, manoeuvring in and out of that space is almost, without going onto the pavement, is impossible. So I would strongly object to that aspect of it, and the flat roof as well.
And also, during construction, large vehicles would block the road and make it very difficult for local residents.
I think that happened any time we do repair work on them houses down that road. That's just one of the bugbears that live in these little tiny streets, isn't it? So we've got strong objections then.
The material objections which we need to put in, with all due respect to Councillor Fortescue, would obviously be the flat roof would be incongruous with the architecture of the area and the highways issues.
Yeah, the turning area. Yeah. Okay.
So we've got a proposal.
I'll second that.
Yeah. All in favour that we reject this proposal? Strongly reject, yeah. So, okay.
Councillor Marie, you voting?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Apologies. No, I was reading something else. The next one I was reading, interested in.
E. Planning application reference 23/01427. Proposed alteration to ground floor, front room fireplace and higher location, the Old Dutch House, 62 King Street, Sandwich, Kent, CT 139BL.
Oh yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to propose supporting this planning application. From the diagrams on the portal, it shows that they're opening up the fireplace to what it used to be previously, and from a heritage point of view, it would be an improvement to the property. So you can see that the current owners are spending a lot of money on the place and keeping it within its heritage statement, and I think that should be applauded.
Yeah. I was very impressed by the heritage report produced by the firm of architects.
Yeah.
And I think the owner's plan to restore the fireplace should be commended.
Looks a lot better, doesn't it? Anyone else?
Can I just quickly say the builders the other day, I walked past them, they had a fire going in the
Yeah.
actual fireplace, just to keep themselves
Chicken
warm,
and
because the
dry.
whole thing's open.
Yeah.
Listen, sorry.
Okay, so we're all in favour of this, I believe, aren't we?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, all in favour of this then? Strongly recommend? Yeah, lovely, thank you. Yes.
Sorry, Mr Chair, which person second that proposal?
Well, I proposed
You
it,
did.
so I can't second it.
Thank you.
Councillor Lang, just you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. F, planning application reference 23/01417. Proposal reduced to a height of approximately 2.3 metres, 2 to 3 metres, one home oak, the subject of tree preservation number 3 of 1997. Location 99 St George's Road, Sandwich, Kent, CT 39.
And this was reduced by 2 to 3 metres, as I checked on the portal, so
Yeah.
not reduce it to a height of.
Yeah, because we'd have a 3 foot stump, wouldn't we? We all in favour?
Councillor Marie's got
Yeah, no, this is the one I was reading up before you woke me up, Mr. Chair. This is a safety. This is on safety grounds. It's too high and it's getting up too heavy on the top. So it's to cut down. Just reading the voluntary tree wardens report. It's purely on safety grounds. So I recommend propose acceptance of this.
Yeah, look, when I went and looked at it today, it looks quite top heavy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a massive, great tall trunk and it's a big parasol
Yeah.
on the top.
It's also, it says from the, sorry, Mr Chairman, it says from the details that apparently there's a crack in the trunk. So if it's not taken down, it could be dangerous to the inhabitants.
Yeah.
So,
So you put a second in that?
so yeah, if that's a recommendation from
Yeah.
Councillor Marie.
Yeah, we support this application, don't we? If you're in favour of that? Lovely, thank you.
Thank you.
G, planning application reference number 23/01397, proposed erection of first floor rear extension, location 21 Watson Lee, Sandwich, Kent, CT 139JF. So, this looks a bigger bedroom to me, doesn't it? Councillor Wild, do you want to?
I'm quite happy.
Supporting.
Yeah, there's already an existing ground floor extension on this, Mr Chairman, so this, I'll be quite happy to recommend this planning application, and it gives a larger, as you say, bedroom and ensuite
And a study.
to the study for that, so, and it's not going to overlook any properties at all, because as we know, Wanson Lees at the back there, you've got the railway line and the drainage ditch, so it's not as if it's going to overlook any other properties. So I'm quite happy to recommend this planning application.
Okay, so I think Councillor Wiles proposed. Are you second?
Oh, did he?
I think he did.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
support this, yeah?
Support.
Strongly support.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, isn't it? Funny one. H, planning application reference number 23/01421, proposal change of use of land for the siting of 8 number timber glamping pods, along with associated access, parking and landscaping, land south of the Den, Richborough Road, Sandwich. See, this is also, like the other one, this is actually in ash. It's not on our boundary. It's past Waltham Sluice.
I don't know if Councillor Breen wants to speak.
Yes, no.
No, okay. Just checking.
Yes,
We'll stick with the planning committee then, so that's what we're here for.
yeah.
Yeah, so this one is quite a controversial one. Obviously, from two opinions. One opinion, obviously, it would bring more accommodation into the Sandwich area for tourists or visitors. But I noticed there was, from the application, there's quite a large number of issues, and from the KCC Highways report, there was 7 issues raised. And some of those issues include that pavement would 1.5 metre pavement would have to be put in. There's also no street lighting leading up to this property, and that the access or egress would cause the splay that would have to be put in to take out some of the existing hedging and banks there. So this is an awkward.
Ravine as well, isn't
It is, yeah. It's on a very narrow and dangerous lane. One of the issues was the increased traffic flow that would be going up and down that Richborough Road lane. So on those grounds, I would like to propose that we object to this planning application.
Councillor Murray?
Yeah, I'm in two minds. It's a good idea for tourism for the town. Obviously, we're trying to boost that as much as we can in the town, and we need more places to stay, especially in the summer months. However, in my profession, there is down that lane there is the Richborough Fort, and that's a very narrow road down there. And when my coaches go down there to take school children through the Richborough Fort, they get stuck at the best of times. So I would second the proposal for Councillor Carter to have it rejected at this time.
I'm no great thoughts whether it should be accepted or rejected, but with regard to the access, we are certainly with regard to Richborough Fort, we're talking about an increased number of visitors. If the road is that bad, and I don't think this should be part of any objection, if the road is that bad, then we shouldn't be trying to push Richborough Fort. But we should push Richborough Fort because it's the right thing in the right place. Equally, the development is proposing a number of car chargers, so they are taking into account the change of the pattern of use of cars, that they're having more people using electric cars. And to have a somewhere that people can go in Sandwich with electric cars and know they can charge them, it'll be pretty well unique. So I think we should consider that as well. That we're going to have some, we're going to. Otherwise, there's nowhere else. If you want to come and visit Sandwich and with an electric car, you can't park it in the centre and charge your car. There's only the 1, 2, 3 on the quay and Gays and Salts. It's not that many chargers around here.
Excuse me, there's quite a lot over at Discovery Park.
Yeah,
and
but
the
I'm
service
thinking in
station at
terms of
Discovery Park.
if you're parking your car up and then you're going to sleeping and you want to charge it overnight, Discovery Park is for a top up.
Yeah, I think those charging points are probably for the people that visit on the actual site. Councillor Wise?
Yeah, I read this application and I think on balance I was prepared to support it because I think it's adding to the number of holiday accommodations in Sandwich, which is a good thing. Anyone who's prepared to invest in the town is a good thing if it's the right place and the right kind of development. And these look like high quality developments. I suppose my only concern might be if it's a change of use and they put these things on, is it the toe in the door, so 10, 20 years down the line it then gets treated as brownfield
I'm saying
land.
nothing. I'm saying
We get a bigger development on there, so that would be my primary concern, I think. But on balance, I think the traffic issues are minimal.
STC then.
Eight pods, it's not going to create huge traffic problems. So yeah, that would be my view on this application.
I'll just come back on that. I think the other factor that needs to be taken in consideration, which is a planning factor, is and Dover District Council will bring this up, is where you have the curtilage of a town. So as you're going down that road, the curtilage of the town finishes where the urban area comes to an end. You then go out into a completely natural environment, countryside environment. This is going to be piecemeal, putting up a commercial operation in that countryside.
But then further along, you've got what's basically a village of all the boats along the quayside and the associated buildings.
Yeah, plus the scrapyard
along the river and the scrapyard and various other houses.
It's not seen. It depends whether this council wants to allow piecemeal commercial developments in the countryside. I don't.
Okay, so we've got a proposal, you rejected this, haven't we? For a second.
Second from me, yeah.
So we should go to the vote then. Who wants to review rejecting this proposal?
Sorry, sorry, Chairman, is this a support from Councillor Carter? Is that what you're saying?
I think he wants to-
This is the rejection. Then.
Reject.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that was from Councillor Wiles.
No, Councillor Carter proposed
Oh,
a
he's
second.
kept the
Thank
second
you.
in.
Thank you.
We're voting. So, we're voting
Yeah.
to reject.
Yeah.
Council to reject. What's it, isn't it? So,
That's fine.
I've got a casting vote here, haven't
1, 2, 3. Yes. Well, if you're in support, then you do have a casting vote.
I do feel sorry for the applicant.
You've got a vote.
I've
so
got a
you can-
Casting vote, Chair.
And can I just say that anybody else on this committee can put, if this fails, you can put another proposal, so.
Yeah.
So it's down to you, Mr Chairman, I'm afraid.
No pressure.
No pressure. Well, I like you say, I think we've got to encourage people to sort of come and visit us, haven't we? Unless it's 8 pods, because if they want to extend it, they'll have to come back, won't they?
I mean, as a committee, we don't have to express an opinion either way if we choose not to. And given that the committee is split,
Yeah.
perhaps that's the best
Yeah. So
approach.
that will be carried, will it?
And leave it up to the planners.
So the proposal that we accept this proposal then.
No,
that
the proposal is to reject it.
Yeah, the proposal reject, that's been carried.
That's carried, okay.
That's carried, yeah. So do you want a proposal then to accept this the planning application, don't we?
No, sorry, if it's carried, then that means the objection is carried.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying? Because, sorry, can we just clarify again? I think there were 3 against. Was it Councillor Wiles?
Well, there was
That's a
three,
proposal.
3 against.
three,
2
4,
3 for the refusal.
3 for the
Thank you,
refusal.
yes.
There's
And
2
what's-
currently for the guests, it's just dependent on the chair's
That's right. And what
decision.
was your decision?
I was going to agree with the, to let it go ahead.
So, yeah, you're against the objection.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's right. Yeah.
But then the decision has to be made on the planning application.
Yeah.
So, because at the moment we've got 3 for and 3 against. So then the chairman has to.
That's right, you've got a
Cast a
casting
vote.
vote.
Yeah.
You've got a casting vote.
Objective line. No. No.
So the only other, that's, as Councillor Wallace said, the only other thing is for Town Council to say nothing for the planning application and to let Dover District Council make the decision.
So it's because you've got the casting vote. If you don't want to use your casting vote, then that fails.
Yeah.
And then there can be a fresh proposal of no comment. Is that what you want to do?
I think we do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do no comment, let them know.
If yeah, obviously.
Because it's ash really, isn't it?
If members need to vote on that though,
Yeah.
so is that your new proposal?
Yeah.
Is no comment?
No comment.
Okay, and then is anyone second?
Right, so yeah, so we need to get that voted on to
We
make
do,
sure we have.
exactly.
I'll
So,
second no
so,
comment.
so the proposal being put forward is no comment from
Yeah.
the chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Councillor Wiles second,
Yeah.
and then you'll need.
I don't think they go through Dover, do they?
You need to,
They-
yeah, you'll need to vote then.
So
Yes.
that's passed.
I'll abstain.
Yes,
No
thank
comment.
you,
Can you
thank
note
you,
my abstention?
thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
HI. Plan application reference number CON stroke 20 stroke 00166K. Proposed discharge of condition 3 materials, condition 12 external meter boxes, condition 19 archaeology, condition 25 traffic calming proposals pursuant to application 20 stroke 00166, variation of condition 2, approved plans to allow amendments to the elevations and layout of the apartment building, 12 dwellings under planning permission, 16 stroke 00046 bracket S73 bracket, location Willowbank, Kent. So, you looked at that one?
Okay, this is variations of conditions that have been put on, so the planning's already been passed at Willowbank, but they want to make alterations such as with the utility boxes on the outsides of the properties. So, so basically it's been passed, but a bit like the development on Woodensborough Road, unfortunately Dover District Council allows these planning applications to go ahead, put conditions on them, and then of course afterwards Dover District Council allows the conditions to be altered. Poor old little Sandwich Town Council, really, however we vote on this, it will be Dover's decision anyway, really. So you might as well say no comment on this one, really, because what's the point of objecting?
Yeah. So what you want?
Yeah, so really we've just got to, well, there's a number of items actually, but unfortunately you either just accept it or just let it go through to Dover and they pass it anyway. So
you agree with that? We just pass it through Dover, no comment?
So that's the mayor.
Yeah.
You second that, so.
Yeah, I'll second that, yeah. All in favour of doing no comment? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. J, planning application reference number TC 23/00153, proposal reduced by 50%, approximately 4 metres, one bay tree situated within a conservation area, 20 Fisher Street, Sandwich, Kent, CT 139LA.
that's on the tree wards.
Tree warden.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to, from the notes that the tree warden has put through, you know, I think this does need the work undertaking to it. It's in a very, very heavy urban area, and as you can see from the photographs the tree warden's taken, it's overhanging the side wall and the side gate, and it's just got too big. It's been planted in the wrong place. So I think we should agree that this goes ahead.
Seconded. Seconded, Councillor Martin. All in favour of this? All in favour? Yeah, thank you. Okay. Planning application reference number TC/23/000149, proposal T1 dead tree to fell, T2 sycamore fell, G2 leyland A and U reduced to 1 metre below telephone line, T3 to T8 dead apple trees fell, T9 sycamore reduced by 3 metres and crown lift to 6 metres, G3 leyland A cut back to allow footpath access, apple tree and orchard reduced by up to 1.5 metres over entire ground, all situated within the conservation area, location 84 Strand Street, Sandwich, CT 139HX. Councillor Carter.
Yeah, basically because we can't personally sort of determine the state of these trees, although having said that, the ones that have been read out are things like sycamores and leylandii trees, which are of no specific exception. I'm proposing that we just note the notification of these tree works being undertaken.
Yeah, we just got too much.
We can't determine whether they're dead or not dead. So.
You can, they are dead.
Oh, well, that's, yeah.
Okay, anyone else want to?
Second that.
That's second.
Yeah. I'll second it.
That's a long second.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. L, planning application reference number TC/23/00147, proposal fellow 1 Betula pendula A and 1 Prudence B, both situated within a conservation area location 6 Bowler Street, Sandwich, Kent, CT 139HA.
That's right. Yeah, this is a similar sort of thing, Mr. Chairman. They're just in the wrong place really, and they do need work undertaken for them. So, just the council, I'll just propose that we note that these works need to be undertaken. That's my proposal.
No comment, is that your proposal?
No, I'm
Support.
noting the support that this work needs to be done.
Yeah.
So, which I believe the tree warden supports as well.
Yeah.
The work. What can you do? It's people should sort of think about these things.
They're in the back garden of a terraced house. I would imagine from the two trees that are outlined here, they've been part of an earlier landscaping thing, and they've just, the garden's grown and they've grown with it, and they're just in the wrong place basically.
Yeah.
They're not visible from anywhere, any public. So.
Okay. Just to correct Councillor Hennessy, the trees have grown, but the garden hasn't.
That's amazing, Paul. I'll make a note of that.
So we pay for this application. Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. Yeah, to note that the tree works are undertaken.
Yeah.
Councillor Fox.
I think we'll pay for this. Yeah. It's a shame that the trees are not. Yeah, I think we'll vote on it. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
Sorry, Councillor Ring.
Yeah.
Well, over my waiting our
I
cards.
need to bring my glasses next time, please remind me.
Yeah. Item 6, withdrawal planning applications. Receive and note the withdrawal of planning application reference number 22/00776, proposal replacement of 3 number rear elevation windows, introducing double glazing, application withdrawal, location 8 Upper Strand Street, Sandwich.
Oh yeah, I'd like to. No, just not comment or vote, if that's okay. I would just like to say, Mr. Chairman, that I believe that some introduction or qualification is required from Dover District Council, because we have information this evening from the person that submitted this planning application that they haven't actually withdrawn it. So we really need to know why this application's been withdrawn when the person that submitted it didn't withdraw it themselves. So I would propose that the town clerk contacts the planning officer. I don't know who the planning officer was for this one. I did look it up actually, but
Yes, I've got contact, so I can do that.
oh super.
Yeah.
And find out why this was the reasons behind this being withdrawn. We were all here the other day when it was raised with the conservation officer, and the conservation officer seemed to have a very sort of lukewarm attitude to double glazing. And as we said, in this environment, when we are trying to do our bit for the global
It's remote access. I think they must have hacked into your computer.
yeah. So, but we need an answer on this. So, could we just also update the application reference that was given earlier?
Yes, we did update the agenda, but obviously you'd already had the agenda published, but yes, we've got the correct.
Reference, but and could an answer be brought back to the next planning committee, please?
Yes.
It's difficult, isn't it, these old houses? All of them are livable, but they've got to be modernised, don't they? And, okay. So that's what's it. Item 7, planning decisions. Is that what you
Okay. Okay, so receive, this is section 7, item 7, planning decisions. To receive and note the latest decisions taken by Dover District Council on new planning applications. 23//00201. This is outside, I think that is, 23 St George's Road, Sandwich. This is Regulation 5, the Electronic Communications Code, Conditions and Restrictions, Amendment Regulations 2017, notification for the installation of a 9-metre pole, and that's a PAN, which is,
Prior approval.
Thank you, prior approval not required. 23//00999, and that's Stonecross Farm, creation of a pond for great crested newts, and that was granted.
Really well done.
23//01166, Harbury House, overall crown reduction by up to 2.5 metres and partial crown lift of 1 beach, and that's the subject of a tree preservation order, and that's RADV, which is, gosh, I should know these off by heart by now. Can't find that one.
It's not on, I think that's.
Oh, thank you. I'll research that one.
Yeah.
Thank you. And right, next one is the 23//01091 Short House, removal of paint from brickwork to front and side elevation.
listed buildings then.
Thank you. Thank you, if you want to do that part. 21//00164/AA, that's 3 Paradise Row. And this is discharge of condition 3B materials pursuant to application 21//00164, single storey side extension, form first floor door, opening to access roof storage space. And that's COAPP.
Conditional approval.
Thank you, condition approved. 23//01217, drive-through restaurant, and that's Montague Road, Discovery Park. Display of various illuminated and non-illuminated logo signs, including fascia, vinyl and directional signage, granted.
Yeah.
23//00562 14 Delft Street. Change of use from community hall meeting place F2B to flat with associated alterations.
Refused.
Thank you, refused.
So that's the old fellows.
Do we know why
That's,
that's refused?
Sorry?
Do we know why that was refused?
I can look on the.
No, yeah, that would be a good
Yeah.
point
Yeah,
to
yeah.
find out why, because that's,
It's a good one.
yeah, that's
Okay.
a shame that that's
Okay.
been refused.
Okay, thank
What
you.
grounds?
TC/23/00124, Goals Way 35 Note Seoul, and that's crown reduction up to 2 metres of the 1 cherry tree and 1 Japanese cherry, crown reduction by up to 4 metres, crown thin by 20% and crown lift 6 metres of an eucalyptus. This is in the conservation area, and it says raise no objection. 23//01212, Bowling Cottage 1A Bowling Street, erection of summer house granted. 23//00285, Haffendon's Field, Regulation 5 notification for replacement 6 antennae on existing tower and installation of dishes and associated works to equipment cabinets. That's PA.
Prior approval.
Thank you. Prior approval not
Just
required.
repaying.
23//01126, Datchet, that's Datchet, St George's Lees, extension to outbuilding to create an annex for ancillary residential accommodation granted.
Do we oppose that, I believe?
Yeah.
Sorry?
I think we objected to that one.
Did we?
I think
I don't remember seeing that one before.
it was where
we could-
they were proposed like a granny annex.
That's, yeah. That's a shame.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 8, street furniture applications. Haven't got any, have we?
No.
No. Item 9, licensing, to consider any licensing notices and issues received from notices. None? Okay. 10, enforcement, to consider any enforcement notices and issues received from Dover District Council. Please, no, none to consider at time of the agenda.
Can I just ask a question, sorry Chair? So obviously the Whitefriars, the sort of the Fellowship Walk, Whitefriars area is still being discussed. Is there any update on that regarding enforcement? Because their 28 days to remove their fencing is up.
21.
21
yeah.
days.
21's expired, that's a good point. Yeah, that needs to be followed up on.
Yes, I am awaiting a call from DDC about that.
It's
So I'm
appealing,
expecting,
aren't they?
yeah, I'm expecting a call tomorrow on that one.
Okay, thank you very much.
Item 11, correspondence to receive and consider correspondence relating to planning matters, including notification of appeals against refusal. None? Okay. 12, verbal update by district council on matters relating to planning.
I asked Mr Chairman that if the Dover District Councillors aren't going to be in attendance, could we have a report from them, please? You know, as to sort of planning issues and changes and what have you like that. I think it'd be very useful if they know we can't
Have a
be on
report.
a wing and a prayer whether they can be here or not be here. So, and we do have 2 DDC councillors, so if one of them could at least give us an update report, that would be most helpful, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I've noted that.
Okay. Item 13, date of next planning meeting, 7th of the 2nd, 24. So 2nd of February 2024. Okay. Thank you for your attendance. Meeting closed, yeah.